Hey everybody, it's Kim, and I'm here today to film my October wrap-up and my November TBR. Now, I don't normally set aside books that I'm going to read this month, but I had such a bad reading month in October that I figured maybe if I set out some stuff that I was really excited to read, that it would inspire me to read a little bit faster and pick up some more stuff this month. Also, during the month of October, I had 7 midterms and 4 assignments, so it was busy, and it was a miracle I read anything at all. And this month, I have 1 paper due, and I think 2 assignments. So November is looking much better. I also have a week-long break starting this Friday, and I'm literally counting the hours. I cannot wait. So anyways, let's get started. During the month of October, I managed to read half of 1 book that I had started in September, 2 full books, and then half of another book that I'm still reading. So I guess technically we can say I read 4 books, but really I've read 2.5 books. The first thing I read during the month of October was A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin, and I'm not going to explain this because it is the 2nd book in a series, and you should just read this series. Read it. But anyways, I gave this book 3.5 stars on Goodreads because it still had all the wonderful character development, and the characters are just so multi-dimensional and fantastic to read about. However, the plot, up until page 500 almost, and this book is chunky, was so slow, which is why it took me so long to read. Like, the last 400 pages I flew through. I read it, I think, in the first week or so of October. But, yeah, no, the first 500 took me like a month to get through, because it just felt like nothing was happening, and they were just talking and talking and talking, but not doing anything, and it was just starting to get aggravating. But all in all, so far, I'm really liking the series, and I'm taking a little break because the books are huge, and it makes me feel more accomplished when I actually finish books during the month, so I'm going to be reading A Storm of Swords in chunks. And the next book I read was Goddess Interrupted by Amie Carter, and this is actually the book I read for the Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I only managed to read 1 book because, first of all, my brother and my dad came up to visit, and they brought me all sorts of frozen food and took me out for supper, which was awesome. And I also had to clean my apartment before they got here because it looked like a tornado went through it. But, and this book also put me in a reading slump. I didn't want to read anything after it. Not because it was, like, so fantastic, nothing else could measure up to it. No, it was because it was such a letdown. I was like, why did I spend that much time reading a book that bad? I'll never get that time back. So I was really disappointed. The first book, which is The Goddess Test, had a creative plot, fairly decent characters, a non-gag-worthy romance. Might not have been the best, but it wasn't awful. And, you know, the main character wasn't annoying. She was annoying in this book. She just kind of was like all up and all high and mighty, and she was way better than everybody else. Ow, I just hit my elbow. But she was just, I don't know, she was just looking down on everybody, but just because she was feeling so insecure, she was attacking everybody, and she was just, no, it was just not a good book. I'm not reading the rest of the series because this was such a disappointment. And the 3rd book I read during the month of October was Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning. I think this was actually my favorite book that I read this month. So I think I gave it 3.5 stars on Goodreads. I found the characters weren't the most creative or unique. They were kind of, I don't know if it'll get better throughout the series. A lot of people really enjoy it, so I'm kind of thinking it will. But during this first book, they just kind of seemed like your run-of-the-mill urban fantasy characters. You have your strong, witty, sassy female character, and your brooding, dark, mysterious bad boy. Pretty much sums up every urban fantasy or paranormal. So, I mean, the characters were funny, their conversations were hilarious, and they definitely left me wanting more. And so essentially, this book is about a girl named Mac, and she gets a phone call saying her sister has been murdered, and then she finds a message she leaves for her on her cell phone where she's very frantic, and she's talking about how they're coming to get them, and she has no idea what she is. So in an attempt to find out what happens to her sister, she packs up all of her stuff and flies from the United States to Ireland, which is where her sister was studying abroad, and pretty much as soon as she gets there, she just stumbles into this magical world with fairies, and she finds out she's this thing called a, I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm sorry. It is a Sidasir? Something like that. But anyway, she can see fairies, and I'm not spoiling it for you guys. It says that on the back. And it's about her journey with this guy she meets named Jericho, and the plot is really good. Like, it's really fast-paced, really engrossing, but like I said, the characters weren't the most dimensional. But you know what? That's okay, because this was definitely the most exciting book I read all month, and if I didn't mention it before, because I'm tired, I gave it 3.5 stars on Goodreads, and I recommend you pick this series up. If you're in the mood for something fast, and I wouldn't say light, because it's actually kind of dark, but just like a fast-paced, not terribly hard read. And the last book that I started in the month of October was A Madness So Discreet by Mindy McGinnis. This was actually the book that I got in the Owl Crate box, which is a monthly book subscription box, and it was my first month that I over-ordered, and I was super excited, like so excited that I think I checked the mailbox every day for 5 days, and then I fell asleep, and that was when the mail truck came, and of course the parcel won't fit in my apartment mailbox, so my boyfriend woke me up after the truck had left and was like, oh, your parcel might be here, and I like ran downstairs, and of course I had the slip, and I was like, yes, okay, we're going to get it right now, and he was like, you can't pick it up till 1, so I called the post office and asked them if they had it and if I could come pick it up that night, and they kindly let me pick it up that night. Best thing ever. And it came with a whole bunch of cool stuff, but this is the book. So Grace gets pregnant, and her family puts her in an insane asylum, but as the story progresses, you learn all sorts of secrets about her life and why she's so tainted, and she also gets, I guess, like, recruited or saved by a doctor, and she's helping him out figure out this, like, murder mystery with a possible serial killer. I found the first half of this book really good. Like, the characters were different, they had witty conversations, the aspect was actually I felt it was very unique. There was also a lot of, like, science and psychology and, like, the history of psychology that I found really interesting. Like, you don't see a lot of that in books. However, now I'm not getting through it very fast because it's getting really repetitive and not a whole lot is happening. Like, this was just not a good reading month. I want a book that is so engrossing, and the plot and the characters are so fantastic that I'm so caught up in it, and all I want to do is read, because right now, like, thinking about picking this book up, I'm not overly excited. I could put it down and not finish it, but I feel like because it came in my Owl Crate box, I should finish it, so I probably will. I tend to, like, try to peel stickers off my books. I really hate it when bookstores are like, smack, try getting this sticker off, instead of putting Indigo recommends or 40% off, why not stick a nice little free bookmark in there for us that says you recommend it or that is 40% off? Because you know what? A bookmark's a lot easier to take out of my book than it is to peel off stickers, especially when you have no nails like me. Alrighty, so in the month of November, it is November. Oh my god, there's like 7 weeks left of school. Yes! For this semester anyways. Anyways, in the month of November, I would like to read 5 books plus finish the one that I've already started reading. It might, to me it seems a little overly ambitious, but you know what? I have a full week off, so I'm gonna read tons. Anyways, the first book that I would like to read is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I would really like to start reading more standalones, because when you start series and you have to buy the rest of the series, and that gets expensive, especially during the school year, so I'm going to read more standalones. This book is, not surprisingly, about a circus that happens at night. And so it apparently says the circus comes with no warning, and it's about the 2 main characters who compete in this, like, illusion competition with each other, and they just think, like, it's a fun collaboration between the 2 of them, but I think the people that run the circus have, like, a bigger plan where only one of them can survive. I don't know if that's right. I'll let you guys know after I read it, but that's kind of what I got from the inside flap, and I'm just really excited to read this one. I wanted to read it pretty much since it came out. Mostly at first just because the cover is so beautiful, but then I read the synopsis and that made me want to read it anymore. So this is definitely high priority this month. The next book I'd like to read is another standalone, and I'm really just itching for a fairy tale retelling this month. So I'm going to read Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. I saw this book on Sam's channel at Thoughts on Tomes, and she did a review on it, and pretty much every time she reviews a book and likes it, I instantly fall in love with the book and I have to read it, just because she talks so eloquently and speaks so just wonderfully about everything. She just has a fantastic way of describing books and making people want to read them. You guys should really check out her channel because she's awesome. So yeah, I'm going to read this one. It is a Peter Pan retelling from the perspective of Tiger Lily, as you can see. And I've been told that it's actually quite a bit darker than the Peter Pan actual story, so I'm really excited to read this one and see how it goes. The next book I would like to read was on my TBR for the Dewey's 24-hour readathon, but obviously I didn't get it read since I only read one book, and that's The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I don't really think I need to explain this one. I'm pretty sure everybody on the face of the planet has either heard about it, seen the movie, or read it. Except for me. I haven't seen the movie or read it, so I'm gonna read this. And the next book fits right on in with my need for fairy tale retellings this month, and that is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. And I believe this is about a futuristic society where the world has androids and cyborgs, and I think it's about a 16-year-old girl named Cinder who is a cyborg. And I love anything kind of fantasy, science fictionist, and just the thought of it being mixed with a fairy tale retelling is super intriguing to me, so I'm going to pick this up this month and hopefully absolutely love it. And as you can see, I couldn't get the sticker off of this one. Wouldn't come off. Thanks, bookstores. And the last book that I hope to read in the month of November might just be the most beautiful book on my bookshelf. And that is the Illuminae. So first of all, I need you guys to all admire this cover. Look at these beautiful colors. I love oranges and reds and yellows. They are probably my favorite colors, so I think this is beautiful, and it doesn't look like it can get much better than this. But then, you take this off. First of all, cool night sky on the inside of the book. Taking the cover off. Look at that. Okay, I didn't even notice this when I bought it and got it home, and I took that off, and I actually had to take pictures and send it to my friends, because I was like, guys, look at the pretty book I just bought. Look at the pretty book. Isn't it pretty? And they were like, yep, Kim, very pretty. But I was just so excited. And so I don't really know a whole lot about this book. I mainly just bought it because it was new, and it was on sale, and it was pretty. But from what I can gather, it is a science fiction book set in the future. And the cool thing that I did gather is it's wrote in like stolen documents, I think, from the government and emails and what looks like interviews. So, and it's supposed to be like stuff the public's not supposed to see, and it just really intrigues me. I'm really, really excited. It looks like a chunker, it really does, but because it's written in such a different way, I don't actually think it'll take that long to read, but we'll see. I really hope I enjoy it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down below what you read in the month of October and what you were planning on reading in the month of November. I hope you all had a fantastic Halloween and have a really good rest of the week. I will see you guys again on Friday because that's when I will be posting my next video. See you later!